Hey, and welcome everyone to another video. And in this video, and this is gonna be another story time video because you guys like story time videos so much, and I have so many awkward experiences and weird experiences to share. So yeah, this guy, I actually went on a date with him, and throughout the date, he actually made me feel very self-conscious and very weird and complete like made me uncomfortable multiple times during the date. So what had happened was that it was like me being out for like a year or something like that, and I installed Tinder for the first time. Before that I was like only using Grinder and other apps. So yeah, I installed Tinder and I left, right, swiped on a few guys, and I matched with this one guy. He was good looking, it was very nice, and we talked, and we had a lot of things in common. So we decided to meet up at a place. So we decided that we would meet up at a park at like the afternoon time, and we would like walk around, like talk and like see where things goes. So we went there and we started chatting, and it was like for the first 5 minutes of the chatting it was more like, hey, hi, how are you? I'm good, how are you? Like, oh, it's been a good day, how's the weather, and all that. It was mostly about those things. And after that, like after the first few minutes are over, the pleasantries are over, he started talking about relationships specifically. And I don't usually have problems talking about relationships, but the line of questioning that he was going for sounded very accusatory. For example, he kept asking me, so why do you not have a relation? Why aren't you in a relationship yet? Or do you want a boyfriend? Or why do you not want a boyfriend? And all of those stuff. So yeah, like to tell that like why I wasn't in a relationship, I was like, oh, I'm still discovering myself, I don't know completely everything about myself, I am like very young and everything. And as I was saying that, before even I could complete the answer, he was like, oh, so you don't want a boyfriend? And I was like, oh no, I want a boyfriend, but like in the future, or a girlfriend even in the future, and all that. Like I don't mind the genders of people and all that. I started talking about all of that, and he was like, oh, so you want one but you don't have one, why do you not have one? And I was like, I thought that I was answering that like a few seconds ago, like didn't you not listen? And like it got repetitive to the point that I was like visibly uncomfortable, but I don't think he was capable of reading social cues. Well, because he kept asking me, badgering me on that same type of questions again and again. Why don't you have a relationship? Why don't you have a boyfriend? Would you want to get a boyfriend? Or what? When would you want to get a boyfriend? And like I don't know the timeline when I'm gonna get a boyfriend. Like, what do you want? After that really uncomfortable date, I like started making excuses. Like after being on the date for like a half an hour or something, I like going through his questions of badgering questions for like 20 minutes or so. I started making excuses. I was like, you know what? I actually have to go. My roommate like doesn't have the key. I have the keys. I have to go. And like I started making excuses like that. So it was like, okay, fine. Let me leave you to the nearest bus stand and everything. It was like, you know what, I'm not gonna take a bus, I'm gonna take an auto, you don't have to come. And he was like, you know what, I'm gonna leave you to the next nearest auto stand. And I was like, oh god, shit, this guy isn't gonna like budge. So I was like, you know what, fine, come with me. You're gonna leave me at the auto stand, and that's gonna be it. So we went out of the park, we were walking on the footpath. I tried to get quiet, I did not try to start any other conversation or not. He visibly was uncomfortable with the silence. Good for him, he should be uncomfortable with the silence because I didn't want to talk to him at that point even. So yeah. Yeah, so I was completely fine with that. I just wanted to go from there, and like we reached a light and we had to cross the road to get to the other side to get an auto for myself so that I can go back to where I came from and avoid this horrible date. And yeah, so we started to cross, and as soon as he started to cross, he held my hand like this, like not even like this or this or anything like that. He held my wrist like this, like I'm a like I don't know why he did that, and he held it pretty tightly, and I like at that point I haven't been out and all that, so I got visibly uncomfortable and I started pulling my hand away a bit. So he did the next logical thing. According to his mind, he used both his hand to held my wrist. So he is holding my hand like this and walking and crossing the road, and he is just afraid of crossing roads or anything like that. So I didn't say anything for like 2 seconds or something, and then that thought came to my mind for like 2 seconds, and I was like, but after 2 seconds I was like, you know what, I don't want to hold his hand even if he is uncomfortable crossing the road. He shouldn't have come then. So I offered to just go by myself. So I was like, can you please not hold my hand? And he said like, no, I'm gonna hold your hand. And he held my hand even tighter, and he took me to the auto stand, and like there were multiple autos lined up who were gonna go, and I was like talking to auto guys like who's gonna go to my stop and all that. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna go to my stop, and I was about to get in the auto, and he held my hand once again, and he said, you know what, if you just look for the right guy, you're gonna find a relationship. And I was like, great advice. I clearly didn't thought of that. He held my hand for like few good seconds and then let it go, and I like sat on the auto really uncomfortable and reached my home and like thought of that whole situation. I was like, okay, what's going on? Or like was he like it could be a lot of people have trouble crossing roads, so that maybe that's why he was holding my hand that tightly, and maybe it's not entirely his fault at that time. So I texted him and I was like, hey, are you okay? Are you afraid of crossing roads? Why are you holding my hand like that? And he texted me that I was holding your hand like that because you were not holding my hand. And I was like, yeah, sure, like when someone doesn't want to do something, that certainly means you need to force that on that person, right? At that point I was like, I don't want to talk about this anymore, so I just blocked him after that. So yeah, from like I blocked him on WhatsApp, I unmatched him on Tinder and all that. Yeah, that was it. God, but it also was one of the most uncomfortable dates that I've been on. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that video. I clearly told you my most uncomfortable date. I hope you enjoyed that. And if you didn't, then well, I don't know, this is gonna live on in the YouTube universe forever, I guess. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed that, and give it a big thumbs up, subscribe, tata.